Hello, I'm Claudia Imhoff, and I'm here today at a beautiful Grants Pass, Oregon, at Scott Humphrey's wonderful Pacific Northwest BI Summit. And with me is Suzanne Hoffman. Suzanne is the Senior Director of Analyst Relations for Tableau Software. Welcome.
Thank you.
You know, we've had a long day of talking about big data. Everything was big data. And the perception that that seems to be surrounding big data is that somehow it's an IT problem, because it's all this technology, all this wonderful technology for storing the data and so forth and so on. Why do you think that's so?
You know, it's an adjunct to business intelligence. The challenge that we have is data started out as an IT problem. We segued into mashing the data with the front-end analytics tools, so that we had business analytics, and BI as an infrastructure became an IT issue, and the data remained under the control of IT. So now we're saying IT has governance over the data, and big data, it's really about Hadoop, it's about the hardware, the platform, and less about the actual information in the data. That is actually shifted to the business analytics users. So you're finding many, many more individuals, employees within organizations that actually are being granted access to the data. They are being trusted as data users with the appropriate analytics tools so that they can access it. But it's the infrastructure of the data. It's the data governance, it's the data security, it's the data integration, it's the data quality. That's all part and parcel of IT's domain. And I think it will remain IT's domain as we move forward.
Yeah. Well, if that's, okay, so IT's got its role. It's basically putting in the plumbing, if you will, all the infrastructure to make the data available. Then what can the business do with all of this information, all of this data?
That's key. If they have the right platform, if they're using an easy to use, intrinsically intelligent data analysis tool, if they're using something like Tableau, they can actually gain access to the information, even at a rudimentary level. Just let me see what the story is that the data is trying to tell me. Then they can gain their level of sophistication that they need to go on from there. It goes back to that theory of ease of use that we talked about. But there's a massive quantity of data that has never been touched. It's been lying in the cellars of an organization, and who knows what treasures rest in that data element.
Very, very true. But let me ask you this: do you have to be a data scientist? Do you have to be a PhD in analysis to get at this treasure that you're talking about?
Yeah, wonderful question, because realistically, you or I are considered in that quote-unquote data scientist or that decision scientist realm, but it's it's the millennial, it's the person who just graduated from college 4 and 5 years ago that we're bringing in to the creative bent of we're making you a manager and you're now in charge of a function in your organization. How are you going to run your business? And your business is your tactical operation within the organization. They need as much data as anybody to make tactical, day-to-day micro decisions. So we have to enable them as well to have access to that same information. We can't closely guard the data from the people who are making the business decisions that are helping the business become profitable. If IT controls the data to the perspective that they don't let anybody use it,
then why good is it?
Yeah, why good is it? Let it out.
Let it be free.
Exactly.
Free the data.
We could start a campaign.
We could
free the data.
We could certainly give that a try. All right. So we've got the everyday person can use the data. We've got IT all sorted out. What about executives and high-level people who are perhaps they're not making the day-to-day decisions and they're not data scientists either?
Right. So there's your continuum, right? You have the people who fully understand the data, who can get down into the bowels of what the data is trying to tell them. The data scientists, classic people who are doing data mining, they're doing data analytics, they're doing statistical algorithms and against the data. Then you have the casual data users, those who are looking for insight, who are trying to bring the story to the surface that they can share. Then you've got the analyst who actually prepare either a dashboard or a series of visualizations that they can then share with executive management to help them run the business. And that's really what it's all about, is having that continuum of usage from the person who really gets it, who's been around, and it's their responsibility to get all the way down to the minutia and the detail, and then the strategic impact that a high-level view of that information will have for a senior level executive so that they know what their strategy should be.
Right. Okay, that sounds like it is a very broad spectrum of technology, of capability. Is there any one tool that can do all of that?
Are you playing too
much? Yes, I am.
Okay. So classically, when you've looked at the overall usage of technology to encompass a wide variety of users, at each step, you had to change out one tool for another. The classic base user was using Excel.
Right.
And what they migrated to was maybe a little bit more analytic capability, and they would go through the continuum till they got to a dashboard at the highest level where it may have been interactive, but it was limited in their interaction. The way Tableau builds the software today is Tableau software engenders the capability of any user, whether their level of sophistication is extraordinary, they're a newbie, they're a beginner in learning to understand the data. Tableau will help them with a simple drag and drop, point and click environment that walks you through the decision-making process, that data identification and enablement of decision-making all the way through to preparing a dashboard that then is collaborated and shared across the internet with a whole host of customers, partners, remote employees, or even your employees locally outside the firewall into the cloud. So the range can be encapsulated by a single tool, and that's what Tableau software is all about.
Sounds good to me.
Great, thank you.
Right. Again, we're at the at Scott Humphrey's wonderful Pacific Northwest BI Summit. I'm here with Suzanne Hoffman of Tableau Software. Thanks so much, Suzanne.
Thank you. Welcome to be here.